An obituary isn't just a notice, it's actually a story. And when it's done right, it becomes a beautiful snapshot of a life well lived. Hi, I'm Stewart from Honor You, and for over 2 decades, I've actually helped families to create memorials that speak from the heart. And one of the most powerful is the obituary. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to write one with clarity, compassion, and with honor. Start with the beginning. Begin with their full birth name and the basics. So you give their full birth name, where and when were they born, to whom were they born, their parents, their mother and father, and did they have any siblings? Think of this as just setting the scene. And just like any good story, you're going to start from the beginning. Next, we're going to share their early years. Where were they raised? Where did they get their formal education? Like, where did they go to school? Elementary, junior, and maybe even high school. Were there any standout moments or activities they were involved in, or any special achievements they may have been recognized for? This helps people that are reading this story to understand like what helped to shape them, not just who they became. Next, we want to highlight their career or service. Like, what did they do for a living? Where did they work? And for how long? And maybe they served in the military. This is where you want to mention this, and maybe any special recognition they got, or honorable discharge, or even awards and recognition that they may have gotten during their service. Work for most people is more than just a job. It usually reflects part of their purpose, and we want to make sure that we mention this important part of their story. And I love to tell this part of their story. This is the love story. Who did they marry? When and where did they meet? And when did they get married? And were there any children born from this union? Name the children. When reading the story, people love hearing the personal side, the connections that they made in life that made their life even more meaningful. Now, here is where I would say you can put in any special activities or involvements that they were within the community, within their church, their faith. Did they belong to any specific religious denomination? Or were they a long-standing member of a church? Or maybe they even served on the deacons or the usher board. Also consider any of the groups or clubs or organizations that they may have been involved in. We want to make sure that we mention these here. And then within any of these organizations, did they hold any specific titles or positions? This part here helps to show how they gave of themselves to something just bigger than them. Now, this is one of my most favorite parts about the story, where we get to add a little bit of the personal touch, where we get to share a little bit about their personality. For example, he never missed the Knicks basketball game, and he would always go there with his friends. Or every Sunday, she would bring home-baked cookies to her church. Or the fish had no chance whenever he was out fishing because he would catch everything in the waters. Now, these are just examples, but you have to add this personal touch from your loved one into this story. These little snapshots, they really breathe like life into the memory. This next paragraph would be a brief paragraph where you acknowledge their passing. You can list the date and the time of their passing, where they were, and maybe if they had any family surrounding them at the time. Next, we're going to list any of the surviving family members. But just prior to that, I usually suggest that we acknowledge those members, close family members that predeceased them. Now, when listing family members, you would normally go from the closest family members out to the extended family. So how I normally prepare it is you start with the spouse first, and then children, and then parents, and then any siblings and extended family in that sense. And now I learned this from when I very first started helping people with obituaries, that we don't want to leave anyone's name out of the obituary. So we put a little statement at the end which kind of catches everyone. We end this portion about surviving family members with "and a host of other relatives and friends." That way, if we just happen to miss someone's name or somebody that should have been in the obituary, then they're still mentioned as a host of other family members and friends. And I also usually recommend this, that it's okay not to list everyone. I'm going to repeat that. It's okay not to list everyone. Sometimes actually less is more, because what I've seen is sometimes you attempt to list every name that you can remember, and usually you tend to leave one or two names out, and because you attempted to do it, now it looks more odd. So again, I'm gonna say this, sometimes less is more. Just stick with the core family members that you're putting, and then leave that and a host of other relatives and friends as the final sentence of that portion. Now, as we come to the end of this wonderful story, I suggest to consider to wrap it up gently. Perhaps close with a favorite phrase, quote, or a spiritual reminder. For instance, she lived well, laughed often, and loved deeply. Or, his legacy lives on through the lives he touched. Now, as we wrap up here, I want to give you one final word of encouragement. That writing an obituary, it's not about perfection. It's really about reflection. So let it be honest, heartfelt, and respectful. If this video helped you, please like it and share it. And if you need help creating meaningful and memorable memorial products for your loved one, visit us at www.honoryou.com. We're here to help you honor, remember, and celebrate the life they lived. Every life has a story to tell. Go and tell a great story.